Hey, my name is Matt. This is Ranking Tactics, and welcome to another Q&A video where I take your questions related to SEO, AI writing, content generation, and ranking online, and make a video about it and also share it with not only you, but also the community so we can all learn together. So this question is from Christopher Maselli. Hope I'm saying your last name right. He says, hey, Matt, I want to do articles on topics like writing and self-publishing, but find the competition very stiff, dominated by long-established brands. Would love to see how you might research topics for this niche, or if I'm thinking about this wrong. Now, he says an example competing domain would be Writer's Digest, and an example search phrase would be how to overcome writer's block. Those are very useful to have because I don't know anything about the self-publishing industry. So let's go to Google. We put in how to overcome writer's block. We have Mozbar installed. Get it. It's free. Very, very useful to find out how difficult a particular keyword is. So we put in how to overcome writer's block, and we're looking at the results. 10 ways to beat it, 85, DA 85. 10 ways to defeat a writer's worst enemy, DA 84. How to overcome writer's block, DA 70. DA 50. Now, this is very competitive on page 1. Let's go to page 3 and see if we still have articles on the same point, on the same query. Because if we don't, if they start to trail off and talk about different things and not about writer's block, then that's a good indication that there's just not a lot of articles on this. Writer's block, exploring the cause and the cure, DA 44. 10 ways to combat writer's block, life hack, man, big site, DA 84. So this is telling me this is a very, very competitive search query. All right, a couple things. If you want to make a site, and this is your niche, you want to compete against Writer's Digest, and this is going to be your baby that you're going to work on for the next couple of years. Ultimately, you're going to need an article about how to overcome writer's block. It's not going to rank right now if you were to write that. Would it be beneficial to writing it? I don't know, maybe. You'd at least get it out there and it would start slowly ranking over time. You could reach out and do some outreach for some backlinks and whatnot and grow that particular article. What I would also recommend if you decide to write that article is then have a bunch of supporting articles. So that could be your pillar article, very competitive, how to overcome writer's block. That could be a pillar. And you could talk about enhancing your workspace is a great way to overcome writer's block. So you could have a little H2 in here and say enhance your workspace and give a couple paragraphs, 1 or 2 about enhancing your workspace. And then you could say in there, by the way, if you want to read more about this, click our link on 10 ways to enhance your workspace to overcome writer's block. And it will be a link in there, and you link to an article about 10 ways to enhance your workspace to overcome writer's block. And you'll have 10 different ways in there. And one of those ways, as an example, could be like invest in a standing desk. And you talk about the benefits of a standing desk. And there could be another link to another article in there, like a sub. So your main article, how to overcome writer's block, links down to enhance your workspace, links down to 10 best standing desks. And now you have an affiliate article about that. So it's a really great way to kind of build out that branching tree and feed all that authority back up to this particular article right here. Will you rank anytime soon for that? Probably not. So at this point, I want to go to a keyword research tool. In the previous videos, I've used Writer's End. It's a great keyword research tool, but for a competitive niche like this, you're going to need something a little bit more advanced. SEMrush is a good choice. Ahrefs is also another. SEMrush is a little bit cheaper. So I do recommend signing up for a free trial or something like that with SEMrush. You can go to there and you can put in the domain and pull up all the different keywords. I think there was like 7,000 and some that this domain was ranking for. Then I filtered by very easy. And then finally, I put in the word how. If we don't put in a question, you get a lot of stuff in here like glossa poetry. I know nothing about that. Chris, maybe you do. Maybe there's different articles you could write on that, like how to write glossa poetry, 5 examples of great glossa poetry. There's probably a lot of different articles you can write on that particular topic, but I know nothing about this niche, and so this would take me a little bit to research. So let's shortcut it and just put in how right here. There's a lot of stuff you could write about, and we didn't put in why, we haven't put in when or can. So it seems like there's a lot of availability here for keywords you can write about. I found how to write a surgery scene. Now, just because SEMrush says it's easy, we want to confirm it with our own eyes. So go to Google and I put in how to write a surgery scene. First result's Quora. That's a really great sign when Quora is first, because usually the Quora answers aren't very long and they're not very detailed, and usually you can write a blog post a lot better than Quora. Next one is help writing a surgery scene. Now, I don't know what this is. This might just be a question. Yeah, this is just another form right here. So that's not even an article. Writing medical scene. So this is writing.ie. I don't know what this is. Very short article. So this is on point, but it's a very, very short article. Reddit comes up after that. I mean, this is great. When you see Reddit, when you see Quora on page 1, that means nobody has really answered this well before. And the ones that have how to write a hospital scene. Let's look at this one. So this is longer. This isn't actually bad. Actually, that's pretty good. What the scene, okay. The domain authority is really low. So this tells me that I could probably rank fairly easily for this with a brand new website. And just realize though that you publish an article on a brand new website, and even if it's a very non-competitive search query, it's going to take a while for Google just to even rank you, just because new sites, people call it the sandbox, people call it whatever, but you publish an article and that's not going to get indexed for a long time, even if you tell Google to index it. I don't know what it is, but it's just the truth. So this is page 2. Now we get YouTube results and some wired results. Surgeon breaks down 22 medical scenes from film and TV. So this is great. This is a super easy keyword to write for and rank for. Let's see what the volume is. 260. So this could be off by a factor of 10. It could be 260. It could be 26, or it could be 2,600. Very good potential here. And what could you do with it? You could, in your article, you tell them how to write the surgery scene, and then at the end of it, you have some CTAs. Hey, if you need some writing tools, check out these writing tools to help you use artificial intelligence to write surgery scenes. That'd be a really great way to do this affiliate marketing stuff. So we go into phrase, let's turn off Mozbar. We created a new document called How to Write a Surgery Scene. It went out and crawled the SERP, and then we filtered some results, because if we want to optimize, we don't want 23 surprising facts you didn't know about Grey's Anatomy. We don't want that in there messing up the optimized section. So you filter out the bad stuff, you keep the good stuff. Now let's look at the outline right now. So in a very competitive keyword, very competitive area, this would all be built out. You'd have great H2s that you could just pull from and bring right into your article. Right? This doesn't really have that. About the author. How to write a hospital scene in your novel. That's great. That's what we're searching for or writing about, but that's just way too broad. It's not specific. Which patients will see your doctor character see? That's not bad, actually. So you can put a couple in here. Who will be taking care of your character? Is your character on the right floor? That's interesting. Final thoughts, 6 tips, the secrets. That's not really helpful. So this is all we got out of it right here. This is not going to really help us write a full-fledged article. So let's get out of the SERP view from outline, and let's actually look at a couple of these. Let's go to Quora, look at that one first. Because what I want to do is, I'm in the content brief, I want to pull some stuff in from here that I can maybe use as a basis, because the goal is to create our H2s. We want to create our H2s for this article. I don't see anything here. This is actually writing a scene right in here, but it's not very useful. Cardiac Alliance, what's this say? Setting the scene, what goes into prepping a hospital for surgery. This is prepping the hospital. Might be some useful stuff to bring in, but I wasn't really impressed. The Writer's Digest, see what they have. Is your character on the right floor? Who'll be taking care of your character? Which patients will your character see? So that's exactly what we had in our outline. Very short. Let's try Reddit. All right, so he wants to create some fan fiction about surgery. Oh, this is nice. A lot of things to know. Is a surgery at a hospital, field surgery? What's the operation? And any number of these things could influence what you can use. So here's how it would go. Bring the patient into the OR, move the patient into the bed. Once the patient's sedated, the nurse will prep the area. Once the patient's prepped, the surgeon will help drape them to create a sterile field. Let's bring this in, actually. And this can just be some notes that we pull concepts from. All right. So what I want to do is I want to create my H2s, and I want this video to be short, right? So if you know a lot about this niche, that's great. You already know what to write about for your H2s. If you don't, you're going to have to do a little bit of research. Maybe I'd open up each one of these and kind of investigate it to read a little bit more about what goes into writing a surgery scene. The other thing you could do is we can go to AI Write and we can click Community and we can click Blog H2 Generator. And this is my H2 generator for blog articles. Put it in, see what we get. Now this is good. Surgery scenes can be intimidating. Write a scene that focuses on characters. Make surgeons real people. Create a scene that sets up the surgery. Set up the surgery room and equipment. Get ready to write the surgery scene. Write the surgery scene. Describe pain without using the word pain. Make surgeon characters feel like real people. We have that up here. Give character traits that make them more human. Write scenes that explain what happens. Try to use specific details. Use sensory detail to describe things. Use strong conflict in your surgery scene. Okay, hey, that's great. Now let's just make all these H2s. All right. Now, what I would probably do for this, there's not a lot to pull from the SERP. So we're kind of like winging it right here based on our knowledge and our research and whatnot. I'm going to find my template, paragraphs from scratch. We're going to try this first. We'll just see what we get. And if we don't get good results, then what we'll do, set the creativity at 1, then what we'll do is use the paragraphs from keywords and kind of move our way up to something more and more guided, ultimately landing on paragraphs from facts. Hopefully we don't get that far because that's a longer process. So surgery scenes can be intimidating. All right, I'll load one more while this is going. Surgeries are scary, especially if you haven't done one before, but they can also be fun and exciting depending on how you approach them. In fact, many surgeons enjoy sharing their experiences through books, whether you're planning to become a surgeon. So this is not on point. Okay, this other one is. Surgeries are scary, especially if you haven't done anything similar before, but if you're willing to put yourself through the pain, you might end up saving someone's life. In fact, surgeries are one of the most common ways doctors save lives every day. To create, let's actually delete that and say to create a realistic surgery scene, you'll need to understand the anatomy involved. For example, you'll need to know where the blood vessels run, the nerves are located. You also need to know how different parts of the body work together to perform certain tasks. Okay, this is actually good. In addition to learning about the anatomy, you'll also need to learn how to describe the procedure itself. For instance, you'll need to explain what happens during each stage. This is great. I like this. Write a surgery scene that focuses on characters. Okay. Writing a surgery scene is no easy task. It requires a lot of research and planning, especially if you want to create a realistic experience for your reader. Actually, as we go, I'm going to go back up here and put these 2 paragraphs in there. Now, we didn't really get anything about focus on characters. Let's try this. Focus on the characters. See what we get. All right, this is a little bit better. So when we remove the write a surgery scene that focuses, and we just have focus on the characters, it gave us a little bit more things on point. In fiction, characters drive everything. Without them, nothing happens. In fact, if you're trying to write a story where the main character doesn't really matter, then you probably shouldn't bother writing it. Characters are the heart of every story. They're the ones who experience the events that happen, blah, blah, blah. So when you sit down to write, focus on creating strong characters. Make them believable, relatable, sympathetic. Okay, make surgeons real people. See what we get for that. All right, one of the most difficult parts of writing fiction is making the characters seem real. It takes a lot of research and practice to make your characters feel real and authentic. When writing a medical scene, it's especially important to give your surgeon a realistic personality. Okay. In order to make surgeons seem human, try to imagine yourself in their shoes. What would you say if someone asked you to perform a procedure? This is great. Wow. I did one more generation, but this is even better. I don't know which one to use. All right, let's just go with the longer one. Surgery scenes are always exciting, but they can feel unrealistic if surgeons aren't performed realistically. Wow, that's really great. All right, create a scene that sets up the surgery. I'm not going to do all these on camera. You don't need to see a 30-minute thing. We'll just put this in here. But we'll do a keyword with this one at the end. Creating a scene that sets up the surgery is essential to making the reader feel like he or she is actually watching the procedure. It helps and establish connection between the character and the reader, and it also gives the reader a chance to understand, blah, blah, blah. This is awesome. Okay, let's do one with the keywords for this one. So if we weren't getting good output for this, then what I'd say is move up to something a little bit more guided. What we just used, the paragraphs from scratch, it's not guided at all. We want to guide the AI a little bit, then we're going to move up to paragraphs with keywords, and then finally paragraphs from facts. So our high level concept is the surgery scene, set up the room and the equipment. And now we need the keywords. So I want to talk about the word operating table. What are the keywords? Sterile and, okay. So we have operating table, sterile, and surgical tools. We're going to see what we get. And again, this particular template, it will either write using these keywords or write about the concepts, if it can. Like if you were to say write about bubblegum or something, it can't make the connection. It's not going to. So it has to be realistic. Creativity level 1, let's see what we get. All right, so let's do one more generation. What we got, the setup of the surgery room and equipment is critical to the success of your surgery scene. Okay, when setting up the surgery scene, consider the following. Consider the lighting, ensure the room is well ventilated, sterile environment, medical equipment, prepare the patient, explain the procedure, check the patient's vital signs, perform the procedure, clean up, document the procedure. That's actually not bad. Let's see what one more generation gives us. Yeah, we could add these on afterwards. So the most important piece of equipment is the operating table. Make sure it's sturdy and comfortable. Also make sure to include a sink and towels, sterilize your tools, medical equipment. If you're not familiar with the terminology used in this industry, don't worry. Just remember that everything needs to be sterile and ready to go when the surgeon arrives. It's weird. It's like mixing the concept. I can see in the AI's brain, it has this concept of we're actually going to perform a real surgery, but we're somehow writing about this at the same time. It's interesting to see the nuance there. Okay, so we're really using a lot of these keywords in here: the operating table, the sterile, bacteria, things, infection, IVs. So we would have a leg up from the competition because we're using these surgical terms now that the competition's probably not. Now, what you need, obviously, I deleted a bunch of H2s just for the sake of time. You could have a bunch more H2s and really build this out. We're at 1,300 words right now. Let's clean up our H1, our meta title. We'll do an introduction, and then we'll do a conclusion and call it a day. So AI write, community. We're going to do meta title description. How to write a surgery scene, creativity level 1. Let's see what we get. Awesome. This is freaking great. There. Okay. Now we need our introduction. This is the notes we had from Reddit. We don't need that anymore. And let's do our intro generator. Intro generator. Let's try this first of all. Normally I would just put in how to write a surgery scene, but let's just see what we get with this. This is really good, actually. When it comes to writing surgery scenes, most writers fall flat. They write boring, uninspired scripts that make readers yawn, but not you. You've got the skills to write surgical scenes that will blow away your competition. In fact, you'll even learn how to write a script that will get you hired as a surgeon. A little over the top. In this article, we'll cover everything from how to choose a topic to how to structure your script. We'll also go over the 10 mistakes that plague most surgeon scripts and how to fix them. So even though we didn't, I mean, that might be something to put down here. 10 mistakes that plague many surgeon scripts. And you could just come up with stuff with the H2 generator if you want to. And finally, we'll talk about how to write a script that will hook with a hook that makes readers sit up and say, wow, that's great. That's a great intro. Let's do our conclusion, and then we're done. We'll do the basic version. See what we get for this. Awesome, that looks great. Let's put our conclusion in here, paste it in. In conclusion, surgery scenes are tricky because they require both technical knowledge and emotional sensitivity. But if you have the right tools and approach, writing a surgery scene can be fun and rewarding. Just remember to always ask yourself, what would I feel like if this happened to me? And when you find yourself in a situation where you'd rather not write, take a break and come back to it later. That's amazing. Wow, this is actually really good. And this is 1,200 words, and we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 H2s in here, and we deleted like 8 more. So you could easily write a 3,000, 4,000 word article on how to write a surgery scene, and looking at this, or page 1, you could rank for it. Like, this is phenomenal. So that's how you do it. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'll try to answer them. If you would like me to do a video for you on a particular niche or particular topic or something you want to accomplish with AI writing or ranking or SEO, drop it in the comments. I'd be more than happy to help you out on camera. That's the only condition. Again, thank you for watching. Please like the video. Please subscribe. Please help grow this community. Share this video with your friends. I really do appreciate it. Until next time, good luck and goodbye.